From love to lifestyle, with a clear favorite from Love is Blind, as well as dazzling beauty to passionate holistic living, join us for this week's Top Twinfluencer Trends Chit Chat. Keep watching to see who tops the Twinfluencer trending list. I'm Twin B. I'm going to pass it on to Twin A, but first, a question. Um, Ashley, in a previous job you had, you were actually in the relationship reality realm, weren't you?
I was. Yes, I was. And so it's exciting to see. We're going to be dipping into some recent contestants of Love is Blind. And before that, though, I wanted to do a quick look at the American Riviera Orchard. If you remember, we talked about them last week. This is Meghan Markle's new brand. Let me pull that up here. Let's take a look together, shall we? So here we are. This is on Instagram. If you remember, I think last week when we covered this, it was around 380K, 380,000 or so. Is that about right, Brittany? Do you remember?
Yeah, around that. That sounds about right.
So now we're at about 560. So we've got close to 200,000 who've started following. Still nothing. Still don't know anything if you've added yourself to that wait list. But I'm just curious, and so we'll keep following it as we go along. But for today, we're going to be talking about 3 influencers up and coming. Now, when we talk about these influencers, what we're talking about is they're starting to increase followers. And so let's dive in to see who they are. So to start, we have Amy Tiffany. So Amy Tiffany is, for those that are Love is Blind fans, this is one of the contestants this year. And she is trending. We'll talk about her numbers here in just a second. Also, Naz Ahmad, also trending. The last couple months, she's been increasing here on Instagram. I believe she has a following on TikTok, but here on Instagram, she's been getting bigger. She is a digital creator in beauty and wellness. And then our third one we'll be talking about is Melanie Sanford, who is a holistic nutritionist in training. So these 3 have been growing quite a bit the last month to 3 months. And so let's quickly dive into their numbers. So this is Tiffany. She had a little over 2,000 in November. In December, she jumps up to 6,600. And now in January, she jumps up to 11,260. Again, this is a Love is Blind contestant. So this is when they started to premiere the next season of Love is Blind. So it makes sense she'd go up. But now let's go jump to that February number. Now she's all of a sudden at 278,410. And then she's still increasing. She's now at 367,000 now in March, and it's still going up. So we can see that huge increase. We can see she's growing, likely because of that Love is Blind. Now let's go ahead and jump down to Naz Ahmad. Again, she has a following on TikTok, but same thing. We can see back in October. Let's get those numbers popping up here in just a second. In October, she was around 2,900. And then in November, she went up to 20, or she stayed the same at 2,900, and basically was close to 2,900 up through January. But then in February, she made a big jump up to 4,200, a little over 4,200, close to 4,300. Excuse me, 43,000.
There you
Yeah,
go. Yeah.
thousand, excuse me. And then she's also increasing. And then Melanie Sanford, very similar. We're seeing kind of the similar trend here. If we jump over to November, we see she started at around 3,660. In December, went up to about 4,000. January went up to 77,810. And then February, she jumped up to 102,000, and it's still increasing since there. So it's if we now jump back over to, let's actually go to Melanie, since we're on Melanie here. So now let's look at, for example, Reels. And the reason why I want to point out Reels is because it can actually show you numbers of views. And so if we scroll back a little bit, we can see that she's getting something like, 115. This reel got 676,000 views. Let's scroll down, 473. Now let's go down and let's just grab, we can see these 54,000. Let's grab this reel and see. So this is February. And again, we're looking for January. That's when she started to get bigger. So we can see now this is getting to January and before, right? We're seeing those lower numbers. Still 26,000 views is a pretty good amount of views on a reel. So I don't want to dig that, but we can see that this is kind of her earlier time, 6,000, for example. But as we get more recent, we can see those bigger interactions. And so those are our three trendsetters this week.
So then, Ashley, it looks like specifically with Melanie, when the reason why she experienced such expansive growth is because of her personal videos, very engaging videos, it looks like, that
Very
she started posting on Instagram. Whereas she had some content before, but it appears as though she's been very consistent and she's
Mhm.
been posting very engaging content, and it has just skyrocketed her
Mhm.
followers.
And something to keep in mind, and we can see she's in every one of these. There's one a few rows below that she wasn't in. But yeah, this is her. She's making content about herself, for her followers. And even if we jump over to Naz, same thing. Let's look at hers. Very engaging. It's very specific to her audience. And it's very personal to them, right? And I actually am going to pass it back over to Brittany because she's going to talk a little bit about this in our trend tips of the week.
I love to read, and I really like news articles and just kind of getting in this space, in the influencer space, the social media space. And I read a couple of articles this week that really caught my attention, and then they brought this really holistic idea together. So the first article was about Mr. Beast, and he is concerned about a trend that he's seeing among potential influencers. And he literally said it was painful to see. And what it is he claims that people are quitting their jobs, dropping out of school to become full-time content creators before they're ready. And because of that, many are failing at it. And so
Mm.
this was the first article that I read, and I thought it was interesting, especially coming from a standpoint where, and I'm going to talk about this more in a second, there is great power in authenticity. There is great value in the day-to-day. And in the other articles, I'll bring that into the picture, more in focus. But the grind of building an influencer business while still keeping a 9 to 5, even if it's just a part-time job, even being a mother, even if you're in school, there's a lot that people can connect with while still doing these other by being involved in these other areas. And so just leaving your job or school to go full-time as a content creator or become an influencer, um, while it can be dangerous financially, kind of like what Mr. Beast is saying, I also think it's important to note that creators and influencers, they're missing out on a huge opportunity to connect with the day-to-day, because you build an audience, you build influence by connecting on things that people um, associate with. So that was the first article. The next article I read was titled "Why Being Your Own Influencer is the Key to Success for Entrepreneurs." And this article talked about you being the face for your business. So a lot of times influencers, they get brand deals, they get partnerships, and this is very common in the space. But as an entrepreneur, have you thought about, instead of reaching out to an influencer or a content creator to partner with, to co-create with, that you become the brand face for your brand? Um, and the reason why, let's see, because your story and the passion you have for your brand, your product, your business will create impact and loyalty because it's what people connect on. Again, there's this air of authenticity with it that that I'm slowly getting to. Another article I read was about how moms reveal their messy homes in a viral trend, hoping to normalize reality. So the article said many influencers want you to think their homes and lives are perfect, but these moms are showing the reality of modern motherhood, and we're here for it. The whole article was talking about normalizing normal homes, not the luxury homes mostly depicted in social media, which are completely unrelatable. So this recent trend of normal middle-class moms showing off their real and often messy lives on social media is so incredibly appealing as people scroll through their social media feeds because it's a way to connect, because it creates authenticity and connection and trust. And ultimately, that's what people need. Um, and so in the article, it said, well, aspirational mom content will always have a place on social media. Unaesthetic mom content has made the internet a little less lonely for many moms. And that's really important. The last article that I read was actually written in Forbes magazine. And it's about two sisters called the Bybel Sisters, and it's entitled Becoming a Full-Time Influencer, The Journey of the Bybel Sisters. Now, Carly Bybel is the founder of Beauty Bybel, a beauty brand, and Amanda Bybel launched the Inner Beauty Bybel Certification School, which helps individuals manifest their ideal reality through NLP, tapping, and other techniques. She also then recently rebranded to the Credentialed Coach School. What's neat about Carly also, in November, the brand sold out of its first product in 6 minutes. So I thought that was pretty cool that these two sisters have created these independent brands and have become influencers this way. But what was most noteworthy in the article was the relevance of human touch in the age of AI. So I'm going to quote from the article, with the advent of AI influencers, the industry is seeing a shift. However, the essence of human influencers, authenticity, relatability, and genuine connection ensures their continued relevance. AI influencers might captivate curiosity and offer brands unique marketing angles, but they cannot replicate the personal experiences, emotions, and trusts that human influencers build with their audience. This trust and authenticity are what brands pay a premium for, a connection that translates into consumer action. So the Bybel sisters build on trust and authenticity, and they connect with their audience. And they will be able to last longer than anything that's generated by AI, or something that's just kind of fleeting. Like the Bybel sisters, they're here to stay because of their authenticity, what they've created, and how they've connected with their audiences. So that's our twinfluencer tip of the week, is really focusing on the day-to-day, connecting as you are, where you are, and being authentic about it. And if you're going to be a hot mess one day, be a hot mess. If your kitchen's a hot mess, let your kitchen be a hot mess, because that's normal.
And just following up with the trends, the influencers that we saw today, like looking at their reels, looking at their posts, it's all authentic. It's all them. They're just being real and they're just being them. And it's really connecting, right? We're seeing that spike in growth. We're seeing that engagement on their content. That's what's going to pull people in to see the content for anybody looking to create content.
Yeah, so that's what we wanted to share for today. We hope you like this video. We hope you share it. We hope you subscribe to our channel, because this is an exciting venture that we're doing, and it's fun to really see who's trending and why. And then for those who want to potentially become influencers and or entrepreneurs, we hope that you find value in what we're sharing as you kind of tweak your organic presence on social media. So we hope you enjoyed this, and we will catch you on our next episode. Have a good week.